What's going on, fellow A-plusers? It is I, your host, Adam Perez. We're back once again with a brand new episode for you today, as we're going to be doing some live viewer questions pre-recorded as we do a little bit of a catch-up for you guys, as our email has just gotten flooded with questions over the past couple of weeks. We haven't really been able to get to live viewer questions in the middle of the week, some pre-recordings, so I decided let me go ahead and take the initiative myself and go ahead and just start tackling some of these guys. So if anything, this might drop after A+ Hero Report this weekend, so definitely go ahead and stay tuned. So if you think to yourself, oh, he missed some of my questions, I promise I probably got to most of them here, guys. So let's go ahead and get through some of these live viewer questions. It feels like our subscriber count here at A+ Hero Report continues to grow. I think we've gotten a lot of Power Ranger fans here. So listen, if you guys are submitting and flooding my email with Power Ranger questions, that's okay. But trust me when I say we do tackle a plethora of other things here on our channel outside of Power Rangers. So feel free to certainly pass some questions along there as well. But let's go ahead and get into this, guys. Good old Cameron Mon. What's up, Cameron? Says it doesn't get talked about enough how Billy created the MMPR communicators, and they were subsequently passed down to several different teams, two of which never met him. The second team, Turbo and In Space. That's pretty fascinating. Like the fact that you brought that up, that's something that I do think gets lost on a lot of people. But I think one, it goes to show you the incredible inventor that Billy is, and just how important he certainly is. That's kind of crazy. I never didn't even contemplate that. You do say, what did you think of when Billy created the first flying car in Power Ranger universe, which was an old Volkswagen Beetle? I thought that was pretty cool. For some reason, when I think about that, my mind automatically goes to the Fantastic Four car. If you guys have ever seen the whether they be the Fantastic Four comic books or even the cartoon series, sort of that hover car that they wind up having that like splits into four ways. So outside of Reed Richards, the only other person at the time that I knew that created a flying car, Doc Brown that created the DeLorean, and good old Billy with his flying Volkswagen. If you ask me, that's some pretty good company to keep if you're a Billy, to certainly say the least. He would have made, Billy would probably make a fantastic Reed Richards, at least if he was like that person on the team. Absolutely love it. So thank you very much for that question, Cameron. Lexi, what's up, Lexi? What were some of your favorite Yellow Rangers, and which do you think needs more love? I was a big fan of Gia from Megaforce, one of the few bright spots in there. What other Yellow Rangers do we have that I could think of that really sort of jumped out at me? Was it Summer from RPM, played by Rose McIver? She definitely jumped out to me also. Was certainly a big fan of hers. Jacqueline Sislowski as Zoe definitely comes to mind also. So yeah, those are definitely some of my faves. Who else? So what do you think of couples in Power Rangers not being used properly, nor allowing a kiss on screen? I do think that's probably going to change here soon. I do feel like maybe, they've spent a lot of years skirting around certain things, being a little bit afraid to showcase kids that, or, I don't know what their mentality certainly around it was, but I definitely do think we have gotten into a much better position. I kind of like the Nate and Zoe relationship that we wind up having in Beast Morphers, and I'm really coming to enjoy the Fern and Izzy stuff here, and the blossoming relationship that is Ollie and Amelia. So I do think that they're certainly doing them much better now than they certainly were. And if you guys don't know, when it comes to Ninja Steel, was it Calvin and Haley? Again, they did actually have a on-screen kiss that was recorded, but unfortunately last minute was edited out. I believe some bond was like, nope, can't do that. Can't do that. And the actors that played Calvin and Haley were pretty bummed because they really worked towards making that happen for the Power Ranger fans. William, what's up, William? He says, so what do you think of Marvel's Eternal film, and why do many fans not like it? Do you still feel some people did not feel comfortable with the characters being all diverse and changed from their comic book counterparts, like one of the heroes becoming the first deaf female hero in the MCU, especially her actress who is deaf in real life? I will say I do think that there's probably some toxicity aspect of it. I'm not going to say anybody that didn't like the Eternals is in that category, no, but you bring up the idea of the diversity. I'm pretty sure that there are certainly some fans out there that probably review bombed the Eternals very early on because of the idea of it being as extremely inclusive as it certainly was. So I do think that there is some category, but I also do think like if you're looking for like just a logical standpoint, or at least an argument that some people certainly have that I can understand, it was definitely a different MCU film, right? Like it definitely did not follow the formula that I feel most MCU films do. Mostly like filmed in location, a lot of natural light. That's just how, was it Chloe Zhao, I believe, who was the director of the Eternals, really likes to do a lot of her filming. So you're really bringing a very high level sort of director and allowing her to do her thing when it comes to bringing the Eternals to life. And it really worked for her. For me, while I don't think the Eternals is the best MCU movie that they've certainly had, I definitely enjoyed it. I probably have watched it maybe 2 or 3 times, and I honestly feel the more I watch it, the more I enjoy it. It was a little bit slow paced for me when I first saw it the first time in theaters. Some really great moments that I really appreciate. But I feel like the more and more I watch it, I really enjoy it, especially the last half or the last act of the film as they come together, or they're splintered clearly, but they still have a foe they definitely have to go ahead and handle. So yeah, that's how I felt about it. Again, it was an okay movie. I enjoyed certainly what we wind up getting. Not writing home about it to anybody, but I certainly enjoy what we got. Kendrick, what do you think of Ryan Parrott leaving Power Ranger comic book universe? Do you think whoever replaces him will start doing more comics of complete Ranger teams outside of Mighty Morphin and Zeo? I love Ryan Parrott's work. I think he's been absolutely amazing. I mean, to be able to pick up where Kyle Higgins left off is no easy task, and for him to be able to be as impactful, if not more impactful, than Kyle Higgins himself on his run on Power Rangers speaks volumes. So, look, I think Ryan Parrott deserves all the praise that certainly comes his way. He just has his fingers on the pulse of Power Rangers and the fans, and certainly what we want to see. And he's done a really great job of bringing those characters to life and really having some fun with them and really taking them in directions that I don't think the Power Ranger fans expected. And I think Boom Studios really benefited off of Ryan Parrott's amazing vision and work when it comes to the Power Ranger comics. So definitely going to be sad to certainly see him go. But whoever is going to take up his place, again, definitely a lot of no pressure though, no pressure, right? But yeah, we'll see how they do it. As far as like, will they bring us other teams? I mean, they kind of have already given us another team in regards to the Morphine Masters, as they've been introduced as a new Power Ranger team for the Power Ranger Universe series. So outside of MMPR, outside of the Omega Rangers, they're now diving in probably a little bit more to the in-space characters a little bit. I think you got a Power Ranger Universe series like that already. So that already leaves us 3 teams of Power Rangers in Boom Studios. So at this point, no, I don't think we're going to get them, at least not as ongoing series, maybe as one-shots, just one-offs, then maybe. Carlo, what's up, Carlo Bernardo? While Beast Morphers had its fair share of issues, mainly the second season, it was still pretty good series. Fan clearly loved the show and the cast that they attend their convention meets and greets. I mean, for me, look, the weakest aspect of Beast Morphers for me, while it was the second season, it was only the first half of the season. The second half of the season nailed it for me personally. I really loved the attention to detail, the focus. Each episode from its second half very much felt like it was building off of itself, kind of really building into the finale, and I kind of appreciated sort of that momentum that they wind up acquiring. So again, it felt, the first half of season 2 felt very much off to me, but I really do think that they absolutely nailed it when it comes to the second half. And I thought the first half, the first season was pretty strong also. So for me, it's definitely a season that I really enjoy. And yeah, if I ever get the opportunity to do a meet and greet or see him at a convention, absolutely, man, I'm definitely going to go ahead and shake good old Devin's hand, good old Zoe's hand. Yeah, man, just bring them on. Gabriel Glasgow. Sorry, let me change my camera here. Gabriel Glasgow's got a couple questions for us. What do you think of the rumors of Kevin Feige in talks with the creators of Stranger Things to lead to a Ghost Rider movie for the MCU? What? First off, I never heard that rumor before, so thank you very much for bringing that to my attention. But yes, please. The Duffer Brothers are incredible. The Duffy Brothers, is that their name? Yeah. Incredible. I've been such a big fan of Stranger Things season 4 so far. I cannot wait for the last 2 episodes. I mean, season 4 has been the best, and I thought season 3 was really good also. And the fact that they continue to build off of it, and yeah, man, they it feels very much more horror related for season 4. And it's really working for me, if you ask me. If you guys hear noise in the background, they're certainly getting ready for dinner and to eat a little bit. So if that's in fact a rumor, it's one that I'm certainly behind. The idea of them tackling something like a Ghost Rider movie, I can certainly see that. I can definitely see that. Feels like that's something right up their alley. I mean, they've been really great at sort of like the, I don't want to say coming of age stories, but yeah, technically like a coming of age, very much like a Steven Spielberg-esque kind of visions that they certainly have for the shows that they're creating. So I would love to see them bring their vision to the MCU. And they never, I feel like Marvel is so good at casting, not just for actors, but bringing the certain people on board. I feel like there have been very few misses of people that they've brought in to do a movie or a series that hasn't really gone very well. I mean, don't get me wrong, there definitely are a few, like Captain Marvel certainly comes to mind. Yeah, Captain Marvel's the one for some reason that really comes to mind, like as far as combining a director and a writer with a character and it just not really working so well for me. Probably Captain Marvel. Michael Rhymes says, what do you think of the speculation of Marvel confirming Agents of S.H.I.E.L.'s S.H.I.E.L.D. involvement in the final battle of Endgame? What do you think of the speculation of Marvel confirming so I don't know if you could put those in the same sentence, though, Michael. What do I think of the speculation of Marvel confirming? Speculation and confirming. So I haven't heard anything confirm that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.'s S.H.I.E.L.D. involvement in the final battle of Avengers Endgame. I mean, listen, maybe if you are an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, maybe there's something in the series or the final season that maybe linked them to Endgame. I'm not quite sure. I unfortunately fell off of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. maybe after its 3rd or 4th season, like whatever that Inhuman season it was that they had. I think after that season, I just kind of fell off, unfortunately. But I enjoyed it for what it certainly was. If they had involvement in Endgame, it certainly would make sense. So yeah, I would be cool with that if that's in fact true. Abase, now that the Thunderbolt movie has been confirmed, who do you think could serve as a fitting adversary to our ragtag bunch of mercenaries? Give me a West Coast Avengers. I mean, look, they're slowly putting it together, right? We got Hawkman, we got our Vision that's all in white now. All we need is a Mockingbird. Who else we got? Wonder Man supposed to be popping up sometime. We already got Don Cheadle as War Machine. He could be in there, right? So yeah, maybe give me like a makeshift group of the Avengers that the Thunderbolts certainly have to go against. But if anything, like if it is a group of villains, because the Thunderbolts are supposed to be villains turned heroes to maybe take on sort of a bad adversary. Maybe Hydra's back in some way. Maybe it's AIM. I feel like maybe you can get them to go against an organization led by somebody instead of, say, like another superhero team. You know what I mean? So that's maybe the route I would go. But we'll see. We'll see. What do you think of Joker 2 possibly being a musical and starring Lady Gaga? Do you think it's unnecessary? Seems like an April Fool's joke that's very late. Do I think it's unnecessary? Maybe. It might be unnecessary. Do we need it to be a musical? No. But I think the pushback that I had, at least to the idea of a Joker sequel, is the Joker movie is fine as a solo film. It's perfectly okay with leaving the character where he's at, right? Like, could there be more stories to tell? Absolutely, but I think the movie sits extremely well as a solo film. So there's probably already pushback for people to say, why give us a Joker 2, right? So if you want to do a Joker 2, and I'm sure Warner Brothers wants to, considering the first Joker was a billion-dollar film, why would you leave that on the shelf to not do something with it? You probably got to come out rather unique. And the idea of Joker being a musical in a weird way fascinates me. And it fascinates me in the sense that when I think of musicals, I tend to think of Love. I think of like Into the Heights that definitely had a relationship theme. I think of La La Land that had a relationship theme. And if you are bringing Lady Gaga in to be and portray the Harley Quinn character, and these two are psychotic ass lovebirds, they're both in a psychiatric ward. There is a really weird, interesting world out there where I can easily see the Joker and Harley Quinn breaking out into song and dance, just based off of the crazy type of love that they have. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's going to be a concrete story certainly behind it as well. But I think the idea of making it a musical is pretty fun. It's a pretty cool and unique idea for me personally when you've got two incredibly talented actors, because Joaquin Phoenix crushes it, and if you've seen Lady Gaga in anything, she always crushes it. The last thing I think she was in was House of Gucci, and I think she wound up even getting nominated, if I'm not mistaken, for her performance. So extremely talented actors, and just talented in general, as both of these actors can certainly sing. So it seems weird, and it seems like this makes no sense, but I can also kind of see it making some weird sense. So definitely give it to me, man. Definitely give it to me. Jared says, what does everyone think of Go Busters compared to its Power Ranger adaptation? Did the Power Ranger version do justice to the Sentai version? I personally think that it did. While I personally am a slightly bigger fan of Go Busters, I think they probably handled certain things a little bit better. That it being its own unique story and its ability to dive into other characters as well. I really enjoy Go Busters. But if there is sort of any adaptation that I thought is just as good as its Super Sentai counterpart, it would be Beast Morphers. I thought they actually did a pretty good job in regards to it. It was something that I definitely enjoyed for sure. But Go Busters was always a favorite of mine. I always loved its it being different in the world of Super Sentai, the spy espionage aspect of it, and I really love the bond between the three Go Busters along with their story that really brought them together and made them feel very much like a family and close. You know, like there were definitely a lot of emotional aspects to Go Busters that really just make me choke up from time to time. But I always love Go Busters. Hiroshi Ling, what's up? Hiroshi Lang, what's up, Hiroshi? Appreciate you coming through. What's your opinion on the MCU, and which order should I watch the Avengers film? I have not seen any of them. Look, there's two ways you can watch it. You can watch it movie release style if you want to, as far as like when they dropped in theaters. But there is actually a brand new way out there, which is a timeline order, like literally chronological order from the dates in the film. Like I think the first film, while it wasn't the first MCU filmed release, I think the first movie up there is Captain America First Avenger, followed closely by Captain Marvel. So it really is dependent on how you want. I've never tried the timeline order as of yet. I literally just talked to my girlfriend. I'm like, babe, we got to give this a shot and see if it hits us a little bit differently, checking out the MCU. But what I would say is, while we are in a completely different phase right now, don't worry about the new stuff. If you haven't seen any of them, start with the first set of movies until you get all the way up to Endgame and enjoy that. That is, in fact, the Infinity Saga in its whole, a 10-year sort of masterpiece, if you will, that the MCU has managed to put together. In 10 years, mind you, if you combine all of these movies, all the box offices, the movies themselves average $1 billion, guys. Each, like literally, if you take all the money that these movies have made at the box office and you average it out for each movie, it's over $1 billion. It's something absolutely ridiculous. So definitely go ahead and check out at least the Infinity Saga portion. But I'll leave that up to you. I would say go ahead and check it out in theatrical release if you want to. So what, Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, you can find the list online if you want to. And I think maybe even Disney Plus might offer the timeline order to you or the movie release order. But I definitely would recommend you certainly check them out. Go in order. I like the Avenger films. Don't matter what order you check the entire MCU out, the Avenger movies are in order. So Avengers 2, Age of Ultron, what is it? Infinity War, and then Endgame. Definitely watch those movies in those orders. But again, if you're talking about the overall MCU, I'll leave that up to you in regards to how you would like to watch it, either theatrical release or timeline release. You also asked, what Marvel movie would you like for a future adult or PG-13 movie to take notes from? Oh, what Marvel film would I like for a future Power Ranger movie to take notes from? Give me a little Shang-Chi in there. Give me a little first Avengers movie, or not Captain America First Avengers, but the Avengers, the very first one, and mix in a little bit of Shang-Chi, and I'll be happy with that. Ram Jam, I have a couple of questions with the news of Jennifer Klein working with Jonathan Entwistle on Power Rangers. Do you think there's a chance we might get an animated Power Rangers series? I still do. It was certainly up there in regards to Michael Lombardo letting us know that out of the things that we're going to be getting from this reboot, films, shows, animated series, kids programming. So yes, I very much feel like animated Power Rangers series will be one of them. Whether or not Jenny Klein is going to be the showrunner for the animated series, that I don't know, but she's certainly tackling the main Power Rangers series on Netflix with Jonathan Entwistle. My other question is, what do you think the character Spot being part of the Spider-Man Across the Universe? You know, that's a good question, Ram Jam. I'm not actually familiar with the Spot character outside of literally just being introduced to him in maybe one or two articles that just kind of popped up. But I'm really fascinated by it. From what I have read, and it's been very minimal, Lord and Miller are very excited about this Spot character. The fact that he's like a living art. And I think the idea of when you are already taking Miles Morales across of a vast amounts of different Spider-Verses that we're going to be exploring, and they mention that each verse that we enter will have its own unique artistic style, the idea of Spot is really fascinating. Like the artwork is his skin is what I think they referenced also. So again, I know I'm not too familiar with him from the comics, but leave it up to Lord and Miller to find a very obscure character and make him relevant again. So I do think he's gonna really impress some people for sure. Alexander Rosario, why is there such a lack of appreciation for Rocky, Adam, and Aisha? Technically speaking, they've been red, black, and yellow the same amount of time as Jason, Zach, and Trini were, but it seemed the original three get more love than the others. Would have been so cool if they were the premiere in the 2017 reboot. They're still Mighty Morphin Power Rangers regardless. Oh yeah, they definitely are MMPR Rangers for sure, but they're unfortunately not the OGs, and I think that's really where a lot of the love and bond really came for a lot of people. Listen, I hear Adam appreciation a lot. It's really the Rocky and Aisha stuff, but I see Karen Ashley over at conventions a lot. She usually has a pretty good line. Also, everybody clearly wants to boogie with the bear. Steve Cardenas definitely gets some lines also. So I do think there's a appreciation, but man, when you're not the OG, yeah, maybe not as appreciative as the original group. You know what I mean? So yeah, but I think out of the three, I think Adam definitely gets a lot of the praise for sure. AJ says, how was your experience at this year's Dallas Fan Expo compared to the ones you went to previously, even Power Morphicon? What was it like seeing Stargirl herself, Breck Basinger, up close in person, and even have her comment on your most recent Instagram post on her panel? Oh, yeah, I think I posted the panel and she said, thank you for posting this or something like that. Just a quick little thank you. And yeah, I did bump into the original Red Ranger, Austin St. John himself this past weekend. I actually caught him away from his table looking all incognito. I don't think anybody else noticed him. And I saw him, I was like, Austin? I was like, Mr. St. John, is that you? And then he turns around and I introduced myself again. I was like, look, I know you don't remember me. I interviewed you a long time ago back in 2014 when you came back at Alamo City Comic Con. And so I just asked him how he had been doing, how he was enjoying the convention and stuff. I didn't really take him, keep too much of his time because I know he was clearly going someplace. So I asked him, I was like, do you mind if we take a quick selfie, please? And he was like, yeah, sure, no problem. So we took a quick photo. Look, again, really nice guy. I definitely had a great time just bumping into him again. So yeah, good luck and the best of luck to him for sure and whatever he does. But I always enjoy Dallas Fan Expo Dallas. I feel like each year it continues to get better and better. Some new vendors from time to time. I think they get great celebrities and guests to certainly come out and do Q&A panels and just a bunch of different and it's not just Q&A panels also. They got panels for other things, so some artistry things. If you're a big nerd and you're single, they even got speed dating at these things. But they got a plethora of vendors, great artists that come by, comic book creators. Again, if you've never been to a fan expo or a convention in general, I highly recommend it for everybody. For me, it's always a great place to just go and enjoy fandoms or enjoy time with other people that enjoy the same fandoms as you. Like, I don't really feel like conventions has a lot of toxicity, a lot of people that that hate these genres and just want to complain about them. I feel like the people that go truly love these characters and love these fandoms and really enjoy it. And so it's always a very uplifting place and a great way to re-energize yourself with your love of the things that you do. Marcelino Vasquez says, currently in the Superman Son of Kal-El comics, Jonathan Kent is fighting against climate change by protesting. A lot of people say that something like that doesn't work in the DC universe because you need to fit the story you're trying to tell in the world you're set in, meaning pollution should not exist in the DC universe, whether by superhero intervention, like for example Superman using his powers to fix climate change, or by using advanced technology to fix the problems. A suggestion that they think would have been better while telling the story would be pollution is something like this. The story is changed to an invading alien species attacking Earth and tries to terraform Earth into something else by using greenhouse gases to convert it. In their own words, they say, there's your pollution allegory, while doing the story that makes sense. They also say that by having John Kent protest instead of using his powers to solve the problems just makes superheroes look like assholes. Do you think these people make a valid argument? To a certain extent I do. To a certain extent I do. I get the idea. Actually, I'm not even opposed to the idea of what they suggested, of the idea of an alien invasion, trying to terraform Earth, and that's really what starts causing the pollution and things like that. I kind of dig that idea. That's actually a pretty cool idea. I think the issue that I have, though, I think the issue, I don't know what I was going to say. I think the issue that I have is the argument that people are even complaining about in the first place. Like being upset about Jonathan Kent fighting climate change by protesting. You know, I think, look, have I read the comic? No. It was one that I was fascinated in picking up, but I think I've stopped picking up comics before that because it was just getting too expensive. To me, it kind of makes sense in the idea of, look, I'll give them that in the sense that when it comes to superheroes, right, you would think that superheroes would just use their abilities to solve all the world's problems. But I feel like we've seen that before in comic books where superheroes have been trying to do their part not to intervene in everything that the humans do, you know? So the idea of there not being pollution in the DC universe, or there shouldn't be, I get where people are coming from because of the fact that they're fulfilled with superheroes. But I also feel like in comic books that I have read, whether that be Marvel or DC, the idea of trying to solve every human being's problem is never on a superhero's agenda in that sense. You know, I don't think it's ever been. And I also think that the world of the DC is meant to clearly mirror ours, just with superheroes. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, while superheroes could easily lift a finger and start making changes around the world, I think the idea is for them to not take over and control the world and just do whatever they want to do. Because a superhero that can just easily fix climate change could easily try and control other aspects of the world order. You know what I mean? So I feel like when you read comic books, there's almost an understanding there that, one, the comic book world mirrors our own, just with superheroes in it. And I feel like I've even heard Superman and a couple other heroes talk about not getting as extremely involved with other matters, you know what I mean, from time to time. So I do think that's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it, Marcelino, I would also say is I think there is something important in regards to seeing a superhero protest, because there are people that pick up comic books that are heavily influenced by what they read and what they see. And I think we all have been, especially as kids, remember picking up a comic book and seeing a superhero do something that was very much on a human level that I think resonates with a lot of us. And I think the idea of seeing a superhero protest in people's eye and what they connected with is, while I can't be a superhero myself and have powers, there's a lot more I can do in this world to try and make a change on the same level that a superhero could. You know what I mean? And I think something like that is very much important for us to see, in the sense that maybe there are people out there that see protests but feel like they're powerless. You know what I mean? Like, what is my addition to a protest or fighting against a cause gonna do? You know? And so I think Jonathan Kent protesting for climate change is a sense of empowerment for people that don't know how to maybe create change in the world, who feel powerless and don't know what to do to kind of get started to make change. So I do think there's another argument there as well. Again, there are certain aspects that I totally agree with what they're saying, but I also see the other side of it. And so for me, I don't see the issue of complaining about it. I just see the idea of, like, I get the idea that some people feel some type of way, but I do think that it's being done for a reason, and I can kind of connect to that reason a little bit. But I do think they have a valid argument, but I can also see the opposite side of it. Jessica Friedman, you do think we see Supergirl again one day, and is WB going to release the Flash movie in theaters or just put it on HBO Max? I do think that we will see Supergirl again one day. Not quite sure exactly as to when. Maybe next year's Flash season 9, which might be the finale, who certainly knows. Keeping my fingers crossed, maybe in the future season of Superman and Lois would be nice, but I don't think Melissa Benoist is done putting on the cape. I do expect her to come back from time to time in a cameo. It may just be one more time, but I do think that we will see her back once again. As far as the WB movie, you know, listen, there's been an image going around. Indy sent it to me. I even saw it on a Facebook page for DC Universe, which I don't think was an official DC Universe page, but the thumbnail had the Flash logo, and then at the bottom it said HBO Max. So I do think it's an option. I don't know how official that image is, though. I feel like somebody just put that together and they're pushing it out there. Because when I tried to do a Google search in regards to the Flash movie going to HBO Max, I don't see an absolute article that insinuates that. Outside of the Hollywood Reporter article that we just recently read about, there are 3 options on the table for David Zaslav. What could he choose? HBO Max is clearly an option, but I don't know if they've settled on that option as of yet officially. So maybe in the next week or two, that's something that they announce. I wouldn't put it past them, just based off of the idea of, like, This movie still needs to come out. Perhaps you've spent $200 million putting it together. It's probably a very monumental movie in regards to not only being great, which we've heard that it certainly is from early screenings, but also maybe helping you push forward in the direction in which you really want to take your DCEU going forward. Like, it feels like it could be a brand new status quo, a clean slate, something that David Zaslav could really use when trying to reestablish the DCEU. So if Ezra Miller continues down this path, and even if he doesn't, maybe quietly just dropping in on HBO Max when it's set to go ahead and be released, that's always a possibility. But I feel very certain, based off of the information that we've gotten, at least when it comes to Ezra Miller, he certainly may not be returning. Let's see here. AJ did send in some... Oh, no, undo. I almost deleted that, AJ. AJ did send in some midweek questions. What do you think of the theory of No Way Home when Tom Holland as Peter was on top of the car when Doc Ock was approaching on the bridge? The theory was that it was actually Toby standing on top of the car with Tom's face put on Tom's body. This would make... Nah, I don't think so. Maybe in the... I didn't even want to finish the question. I was like, nah, I don't think so. Maybe if anything, maybe that's something that they'll showcase in the behind the scenes footage, maybe? I don't know. Carter Matthews. Remember when Wes came back along with the other veteran Rangers for the 25th anniversary? Yeah, I think it was Coda and Gemma. I love that Jason Fountain managed to also film himself as a hologram during the Christmas episode, which took place later after Dimensions in Danger. Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. My real question is, for the 30th anniversary, if we do get returning Rangers back, would you like some of the veteran Rangers to do something similar when they appear in hologram form if the one actor can't be seen on screen physically? Yeah, I would be open to that. I think that's actually pretty cool. Maybe one. I don't know if you would do that for everybody, but who certainly knows? This could even apply to Austin St. John because of you-know-what. I could just imagine Jason, a hologram coming in, and they'd be like, what are those bars around you, Jason? Don't worry about that. Don't worry about those bars. Oh, man. Wes being in a hologram form was so cool, and definitely continues with Time Force being a time travel season. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that for maybe one Ranger, or if it's like a Ranger that's a couple, maybe just two at a time. I think that'd be pretty cool. Ahuja, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, I apologize, Ahuja, but thank you for your question. 5 of your favorite superheroes of all time growing up as a kid, and which do you wish would have a live action movie, if not yet? 5 favorite superheroes of all time growing up. Spider-Man was always my number one. I don't know if I had a lot of favorites. Green Lantern was always one that always fascinated me. Wonder Man always fascinated me also. And they're not like... Wonder Man's not like a B, and not like a A-level character either. So yeah, probably Green Lantern, definitely Spider-Man. Wonder Man was always fascinating to me. Wolverine for sure. Fifth one. I'm trying to think of some. I was always a team guy when it comes to comics, like Avengers, X-Men, Teen Titans. You know, the idea of solo adventure books. I definitely didn't start out that way, with the exception of Spider-Man. I had a massive, amazing, spectacular Spider-Man collection I was so proud of, but I unfortunately do not have those anymore. So those are probably my 4. I'm trying to think if I have a 5th. You know, give me Luke Skywalker. Give me Luke Skywalker. And I think all of them have live action stuff. I would like a much better Green Lantern, though. Definitely give me a much better Green Lantern. Carter Matthews, the information that was teased for the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers possibly starting in less than a month or two from now, do you think we will have the same writers or new ones? And if the show itself is a new adaptation of Super Sentai, do you think it will be difficult or perhaps not have a lot of Super Sentai footage considering how short the season has been rumored to be? As far as Sentai footage, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's 100% original footage or 90%. Do I think it'll be the same level of... I do believe so. I believe we're probably going to get back the same team that just tackled Dino Fury. And based off of what they did, absolutely. And knowing now that they're no longer on Nickelodeon and on Netflix, I do wonder if we'll see even another notch in a level of storytelling there. And listen, I will say this too. I think the fact that it is going to be a shorter season helps with the focus, you know? I think what draws out Dino Fury and dilutes it is all the filler episodes that need to be sort of thrown in there. But if you know, hey, you've got 8 to 10, maybe 12 episodes to tell the story that you want to tell, blinders on, focused. That's the type of storytelling that I'm expecting. So yeah, I do think it'll be the same people, but maybe even a notch up in their game, along with more original footage. But again, I'm going maybe 100% original footage, or if they do use Sentai footage, maybe 90% original footage. I'm still confused if this new announcement is for the season left with a new Ranger or MMPR reunion tribute to Training. The 30th anniversary is for the season itself with the new Ranger, and then they're also supposed to be a MMPR reunion special that is a tribute to Training. Or at least I believe that it is. So yeah, but the idea of the 30th anniversary is for the season itself. Good old Jack Daniels. Did you like that Evox revealed himself to be Venjix from MMPR since both were played by the same actor, just his name credited differently? Some fans hated the reveal because they felt it was stupid, mainly because Beast Morphers to them was a childish series compared to RPM, which was more dark and mature. No, I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was actually really great. I'm a big fan of continuity and connective tissues, so the fact that they went back and connected it to RPM, look, the RPM world is vastly different. It's post-apocalyptic, you know. The Beast Morphers don't take place in that world, so a different tone and vibe definitely goes ahead and makes sense to me. But no, I thought it was perfectly handled. I personally really love the reveal. I actually knew Evox would be Venjix since Beast Morphers began, since it was really obvious how the computer virus broke free, just like RPM. Well, I'm glad you make that connection, Jack Daniels. But yeah, I really love the reveal. I thought it worked well. This damn camera just keeps moving on me slowly, I think. Abase, Mighty Morphin Mutants, the best Zord battle I've seen from season 1, episode 59. This is the best Zord battle I've ever seen. Putties turn into evil twin rangers, fight it out. It's time and outcome this time and outcome the Megazord and Dragon Zord, though the Putties didn't have their own Zords. So how did they fight, you ask? By standing and sitting in each other's shoulders and kicking and punching various limbs they had free. I might have to go back and check out that episode, Abase, but thank you very much for bringing it back to my attention. It's been a minute. Let's see here. Farhat, what's up, Farhat? I appreciate you coming through, man. I just want to take a scroll back and see what other questions did I miss. I think I just have AJ's from before. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm getting to everybody's questions. Where'd it go? Where'd you go, Farhat? Oh, there we go, Farhat. Okay. What do you say? Hi, I'm Farhat, and I saw your channel when I saw 2 videos. Miss Marvel episode 1 and Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's Kenobi, but okay. Let's see here. What are some movies or TV shows you remember seeing people in the background kept looking at the camera while the actors are performing? Rarely. I don't really pick up on things like that, honestly. Maybe some Game of Thrones recent mishaps that they've had in like season 8 or something like that. But it's very rare that I get the opportunity to see like an extra or somebody looking in the camera while the actors are performing. At least if they do, I don't really, I'm not the person that usually catches that type of stuff, you know? My second question is, what do you think of the situation with the actor of the Flash movie? And have you heard of some fans wanting the gentleman who plays the current Flash character to replace the actor of the movie universe, perhaps aging him so he looks like a natural fit? I heard some people don't want the TV Flash actor because he looks young or not muscular enough. No, like for me, look, I get the love for Grant Gustin. I do. He's been a marvelous Flash over the past couple of seasons. I mean, they even did a great in Crisis on Infinite Earths, a great collaboration between Ezra and Grant Gustin, which was just pure TV gold, if you ask me. But I think Grant Gustin is great as the Flash for television. I do think TV and movies are a completely different beast. Is he a great actor? Absolutely. Would I have a problem if they brought Grant Gustin into the DCEU? No. But I just think there are far better actors than Grant Gustin in regards to the Hollywood realm of things that I think could really tackle the Flash character just as perfectly well. So, and that's just me. Again, there's nothing against Grant Gustin. I think he's perfect for the role that he's in. But I do think TV and movie are just two completely different beasts. And look, the situation with Ezra Miller is just atrocious. It's just deteriorating right before our eyes. I don't know what's happened with this dude, but it's just atrocious, horrifying, terrifying. I mean, he needs the help. He needs to get the help that he wants. Or he needs to get the help that is needed to him, for sure. Salvador. Hi, I'm Salvador. I saw your YouTube channel regarding Power Rangers where you decided to move your focus of Power Ranger topics to your secondary channel. Have you seen any Super Sentai series which Power Rangers was originated from? Oh, yeah, absolutely. My favorite Super Sentai series is the one called Zoologia, which is my username picture. I was going to subscribe to your old channel. Figured I subscribed to your secondary one. Hope that's okay. Yeah, that's more than fine. I don't really post too much over on the APlus More Phenomenal. The only thing we are posting on APlus More Phenomenal right now is our Don Brothers reviews. So yes, I definitely do watch Super Sentai for sure. And I'm glad that you liked Zoologia. I fell off, I think, after like the 13th or 15th episode of the season. Yeah, I just unfortunately fell off of it. But I love the designs. Really love the characters. Always thought that the animals from their home planet was actually a pretty cool twist. And Zoo of the World was actually pretty interesting to me as well. But I never got a chance to finish it and really fully experience the season, unfortunately. Jedner, what's up, Jedner? Appreciate you coming through. He says, I really love and enjoy this series. You say, my thoughts on the Ultraman Trigger series. I really love and enjoyed this series. It was my first exposure to Ultraman in general. At first, I had no idea what I was expecting since I'm more of a Super Sentai and Power Ranger fan. I love that the series, in my opinion, felt dark and a little bit mature. Seeing the character grow giant was amazing. I can't get enough of this series, and I might want to check out some of the past Japanese series. Where would you put this series in your shelf of superhero franchises? Would you ever like to see Power Rangers take a similar approach? You know, there are aspects of Ultraman Trigger I would like to see a little bit more of influence when it comes to Power Rangers. Not necessarily the Rangers themselves growing tall, but the attention to detail for the world building that they do when it comes to the tokusatsu elements and the gigantic battles. The attention to detail from just each building, the different camera views that we get of the city throughout these battles really just sort of elevate the action for me personally. But I really enjoyed it, man. And it's funny you say that too, in regards to Ultraman Trigger, Jedner, this being your first series, because it was my first Ultraman series also. I don't, you know, there's a part of me that probably will go back and check out some older things from time to time, but I think going forward, I'm probably going to always watch an Ultraman series to some capacity. I'm very much a big fan of it. So yeah, I'm glad that you certainly enjoyed it. And where would I put this in the shelf of my superhero franchises? I would probably need to see more, because right now, I mean, look, it's definitely behind Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and Power Rangers for me right now. I don't even know if I would have it in my fifth, but it's definitely up there. I definitely enjoy it. Jonathan, what's up, Jonathan? I sent the same question, but I want to know if the rest of you guys want to chime in and give your thoughts. I saw your live video of APlus Tier Report, and one of the big topics you talked about was James Gunn. I thought they answered that, but maybe not, Jonathan. So I'll hold on to that for you. I'm trying to get out some of these Power Ranger questions before tomorrow's show, just because of the fact that you know, I really would like a much better balance of questions from time to time. Kurt Marino, Dino Charge as a whole. What Dino Charge as a whole did better than both Mega and Super Mega Force? Character development, except for Kendall and Keeper. Opening theme song no longer had the actors yelling their names. The editors actually listened and removed all the Japanese text from Dino Chargers. Keeper didn't give the Rangers new stuff for no reason. Ivan, Philip, James, and Albert each got great explanation to their how they got their powers. Tyler kept looking for his dad both seasons. Explanation of how Keeper got the Energems. No team up, thank God. Wasn't a continuation from the Super Mega fail. Tyler had charisma and personality, unlike Troy. We actually had two relationships form: Chase and Kaylee during season 1, and Tyler and Shelby near the end of season 2. Yes, another one of my favorite couples. Chase and Kaylee's was so much better, and great build up until Nate and Zoe in Beast Morphers. I'm glad you like those, man. Really glad you like those, Kurt. Appreciate the thoughts, man. Let's see here. Adam Perea, if you could change any story plot for any seasons of Power Ranger, what seasons would it be and why? For me, it'd be Wes and Jen actually date in Time Force. That was an interesting premise that they really were fun chemistry. I mean, give me a kiss at least between those two. Dino Thunder would have Billy as Mesagog, who was reluctantly evil, Kat in the Haley role, and Rocky instead of Smitty. Rocky actually going evil because he couldn't handle losing his powers, and the rush of being important and hating Tommy for abandoning him. No redemption for him. If anything, I think for me, maybe when it comes to Samurai, I would have loved to have Lauren come in a little bit sooner. I really would have loved to have them taken some liberties in regards to the storytelling aspects, and allow Lauren to kind of fit in there a little earlier than what she wind up coming in, to give her a little bit more impact in the series. But yeah, I would definitely want to see more of Lauren, so that's probably why I would change that storyline a little bit. All right, I might do like one or two more here. Cameron, what did you think when Billy stepped down as a Ranger during the second episode of Zeo, when he gave Tanya his Zeo crystal, when he realized there could be only 5 Rangers at a time? Billy decided that he was better off helping out in the command center. That episode, we knew that Billy would actually leave the show at the end of the series. Yeah, look, I always thought Billy, look, I wouldn't have minded Billy being out in the field, but if there can only be 5 Rangers, I thought they placed him in a really good spot to actually be in the command center with Alpha and Zordon. It felt like a natural fit for him, so I didn't really have a problem with it, but you could definitely tell, like, oh man, maybe he's about to leave the show too, you know what I mean? One of the last remainings. So a little bit of a bummer that he wind up having to leave the show, but yeah, man, I definitely do remember that. Kendrick, what's up, Kendrick? Some of your favorite exclusive weapons from Power Rangers. Recently, I was a really big fan of the Beast Morphers, the Fury Claws, or whatever that Devin had, that he was utilizing his little capsules and energy, like popping them in there. I always love that as an exclusive weapon, because I don't believe that was in Go Busters at all. So props to them for creating that. Would you like to see Justin now as an adult return for Power Rangers 30th anniversary? No, not really. Do you feel Justin might have learned a lot from being a Power Ranger, since he was a first kid to be a Ranger? Probably. Probably, but I don't really need to see him. Did you like that he came back for True Blue of Power Rangers in Space, and that his character got real closure, like his dad finally make time for him instead of being workaholic and moving from different jobs? Justin seemed to be written much better than he was on Turbo. I love that his power was connected to his vehicle mode, Storm Blaster. Yeah, I would agree with you in the sense that he was written better than he was in Turbo. So I actually did not mind him in Space. I really didn't. All right, and I think the rest of the questions I will certainly leave for tomorrow's show, which will technically be Sunday, which you guys will have watched by now. So if anything, I will go ahead and post these for you guys right after our episode of Hero Report. So yeah, I've got a Jonathan with the James Gunn question, Nicole Robertson with Power Rangers 30th anniversary news, Adrian Perez with a Jonathan Entwistle question, and then we will go from there. But yeah, guys, other than that, I think that's going to do it for us here. We'll certainly see you this weekend and later on this week with a ton of more content. But in the meantime, do me a big favor. As always, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. Talk to you guys later. Bye.